Hello and welcome to 100 Yards of Football Sports Talk Radio. I'm the producer, Jeremiah Long, and joining me is our host, Logan Landers. How's it going, Logan?
Hey, I'm doing great, Jeremiah. How about yourself, buddy?
I'm doing great, man. I'm still here in Atlanta just chilling, but I hear you're over at the beach.
I am. I'm in Florida right now, Panama City to be exact. I am hanging out with some family, enjoying the beach, social distancing, of course,
Yeah.
keeping it safe, but just having a nice time.
Well, that's excellent. I'm glad that you're out there getting to do a little bit of something. Everybody getting to do something. So since you're in Florida, I guess it's just perfect that we're going to talk about the man himself, Steve Spurrier. Not just a Florida history legend, but a legend from quite a few different places. So what is right off the bat? What's the first thing that you really you remember about Steve Spurrier? I know because you're a little younger, so you haven't had the exact experience some of us have with him.
Whenever I was growing up, you'd always hear about the great, college football head coaches, and his name would always get brought up.
Yeah.
It seems like he was just a tyrant. He would beat anyone in his way, and he would run up the score as much as possible. He'd always get accused of doing that, but man, he's just got that competitive nature to him for sure.
Hey, I don't see why running up the score is a bad thing. If you can beat somebody, beat them. Well, let's hear a little bit more. Not a little bit. Let's hear some pretty great stuff about Steve Spurrier. I really appreciate the amount of research you did on this one, and we're going to really get into it today. All right.
Yeah, man, let's do it. Another in-depth analysis with our, I'd say, world-famous slide decks. So let's talk about Steve Spurrier. Well, as everyone knows, he started off as a player, of course. He was a National High School Hall of Famer. He won the 1966 Heisman, of course. And, man, he had a great year that season. He's also a first-team All-American in both 65 and 66, playing for Florida. And, at his time in Florida, he finished with 4,848 passing yards with a total of 37 touchdowns. And he was slinging the ball all over the place back in his playing days. Played in the NFL for a little bit. He was drafted to the 49ers. He played for the Niners, and he also played for the Buccaneers. Kind of a low light in his career. He played for the Bucs in '76, which was their early stages of starting the team. As everyone remember those creamsicle uniforms that I personally think are pretty beautiful, but a lot of people were kind of on the edge about it. But they had that dreadful 0-14 season up to start. But yeah, so he didn't have the best NFL career per se, but he finished with a total of 6,878 yards and also 40 touchdowns, so commendable in that respect. Also, a fun fact about him, he won the MVP of the Sugar Bowl in 1966 against Missouri. And the crazy thing about that is they were down 20-0 going into the fourth quarter. Well, Steve Spurrier doing what he does best. He came back and he got Florida to 20-18, but unfortunately they couldn't get the win. But he won the MVP and he lost the game, which is a rarity in any kind of sport to win an MVP, even though your team loses the game. But on the next slide, we're going to talk about his coaching career. So after he's done the NFL, of course, he went to start coaching. And everyone remembers his time at Florida. Coached the Florida Gators, his alma mater, from 1990 to 2001. He won the 96 national championship. He also won 6 SEC titles during his reign. He was a 5-time SEC Coach of the Year. Once he was all said and done, he was inducted into the Gator Football Ring of Honor, along with a few other legends in the Florida Gator football world. And he finished at Florida with an amazing record of 122 wins and 27 losses. On the next slide, we have his coaching stats at another very prominent school, the University of South Carolina, the Gamecocks. He coached there from 2005 to 2015. He finished with a respectable 86-49 record. And after he was done with the Gamecocks, he went on to take a small break, but he came back and he coached the Orlando Apollos just this last year for the AAF, which is, many members, the short-lived football league. They finished 7-1, but after the league shut down for financial reasons, Spurrier claimed that they should be the first and only regular season champions. And hey, I don't blame him. If you got the best record, regardless of what happens, just might as well be crowned champion in that respect for that league. And on the next one, we got his other coaching career and where else he's been. Matt, he's coached at so many places. He was also he coached at Georgia Tech for a little bit, not as the head coach. I think he was like a wide receivers coach or something along that respect. He also coached at many other, smaller schools, just not as the head coach. So he's had a lot of football knowledge. But as head coach, he was with the Tampa Bay Bandits for the USFL back in the day from 83 to 85, and he was with a 35-21 record. And like I said, that league also shut down in 85. And then he moved on to Duke in 87 through 89. He was a two-time ACC Coach of the Year in 88 and 89. Won the ACC title in 89 as well. And he finished at Duke with a 20-13 record. And then he also went to the NFL for a brief stint with the Washington Redskins. And they weren't the best team at the time, so he finished with a 12-20 record. But hey, he can put that he was an NFL coach with which a lot of coaches in college and all can't say. And like I said, he's a legend in the college football world. And he finished his total record with all the teams combined as a head coach, 228 wins and only 89 losses. Just an astounding feat. Definitely one of the best head coaches in college football of all time. And just all the players that he's produced at all the schools he's been to has just been astronomical.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I think love him or hate him, you can't deny the record. You can't deny what he did in these various positions. Let me ask you this, though. After doing all your research and looking around, do you think that Steve Spurrier should be more well known as a player than he's known?
I think so, for sure. After, doing my research and all, just after looking at all his stats and just how, dominant he was back in the day at Florida, I think that he should really be looked upon in a much brighter light as a player, because everyone knows him as a coach, but not a lot of people remember him as, they remember him as a player, but they don't remember him that fondly. They remember, the head coach, Steve Spurrier. They don't remember the Heisman winner, the Sugar Bowl MVP.
I'm sure that there's a few others out there, but I think it's still got to be pretty rare for a head coach to have been a Heisman Trophy winner.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's incredible. Also, that's something that I didn't know about the winning the MVP, even though they lost the game. That's another big rarity. That just shows the amount of heart that he had, whether you love it or hate it.
There you go.
Yeah. So, what's your final words on Steve Spurrier?
Man, like I said, Steve Spurrier, just a dominant head coach for sure. I know that you've had some ups and downs with him being a Tennessee fan. You've had your fair share of grudges against him, I'm sure.
We've had some mixed history over here.
Yeah, mixed history. But overall, man, Steve Spurrier, an amazing head coach, a legend in the game for sure. Anyone that's ever wanted to be a head coach, I'm sure, has looked up any of his footage, any of his interviews. He's just, a great person all around and just an even better coach.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for showing that to us, Mr. Landers. Everybody at home, tell us what you think about Steve Spurrier. Love him or hate him. Tell us your hate stories. Tell us your love stories. I could probably go on and on about being down on the campus at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, seeing the Sea of Orange, and then seeing the Florida fans down there, and everything. It's had some good and some bad, depending on if we won or lost. Things got rowdy. That'll usually happen with us. So, yeah, I might just type in a little story in the comments myself about a few things that I remember from some of the Florida games where Spurrier was the coach. But you guys do the same. And also tell us, are there any other head coaches that you'd like us to cover? Because we decided to come right out the gate with a big one. But there's some other really great controversial figures and some, not so controversial, but some people that probably are underrated, actually, given the fact that they didn't have that controversy behind them. So they just kind of get overlooked sometimes. So please like, share, comment. Definitely go to our YouTube channel where we're putting all of our stuff up there now as well. And we are 100 Yards of Football, Sports Talk Radio. We come to you every week with live videos discussing football. We keep it on the field and we keep it about stats. And we hope that you guys have a great day. See you guys later.
See you guys.